This is a trade that I made on June 9th on Disney. Now, this one, of course, falls into the massive loss category again. And it's typical. And it's, I look at it in hindsight. However, it's so difficult to make these changes that I'm hoping to relive through these trades so that I can maybe make some sort of a change and take care of it as soon as possible. So hopefully, when I go through each of these painstakingly one at a time, then I'll know what to do in the future. So here, I normally, this may have been the correct entry point here. Uh, Double bottoms and triple bottoms can occur, but in certain cases there is a single bottom here and starts going up for this particular stock on this particular day. So entry at this point would have been okay. It would have overshot up over the VWAP, and then so at this point the stock was trending down at this point, and I added for some reason. So I would consider also that as an error. Instead, I would have said to myself, maybe it's a time to break even. It's moving sideways. I don't know when the actual movements will truly occur. So, a couple errors could possibly have occurred at this point. The third error is actually adding to something that was moving to sideways. That's something that did not tell me anything about whether the stock was trending up or not. If it was trending up, it would make sense to add. But at this point, there's there's no indication that the stock was moving up, and so adding to this point is just adding to an error, the third error. And then at around about 8:40 Mountain Time, it started to dip. And at this point, I should have had a stop loss somewhere around here to get myself out. But I rode it all the way through, approximately from 8:25 Mountain Time to 9:25, approximately 1 hour. And then I decided to add here, which is another error, the fourth error in what I did. And as the stock started to decrease, there was at a point where I finally decided the stop loss would be at this point. So at this point, um, I started to scale out of this trade. Luckily for me, that was the right decision to make, because towards the end of the day, I mean, it dropped like $2 more. So it could have been even worse. So possibly this would have been, if this occurred a little bit earlier, somewhere around here, the loss would have been far less, but I did have to carry it all the way through here. So there was a minimum of 4 different errors that I made in this trade. And so that also that also added to the losses that I have. And on this same day, I was trading Boeing and I experienced the same thing. So I had 2 different stocks moving against me at the same time. So it was essentially a double whammy of a situation. So I need to make sure that I minimize the number of trades that I make so that I can keep track of what's going on. At this point in the early stage of day trading, having multiple stocks moving in a certain direction that requires attention to each one of the trades uh, causes me to make even greater amount of mistakes. It's a multiplicative kind of an event that occurs. So I need to make sure that I don't make these mistakes. Again, this is adding to a loser. There was no need to add because it was moving sideways. And first, maybe the entry was sort of correct because it looked like at that time that I was playing the trend where the stock was moving up. And then there was another error of adding to a loser. And then finally, not placing a stop loss at this point, somewhere around here, which would have minimized the losses. Added here for some odd reason, which I need to stop doing that, and then finally got out here with a greater loss than I should have. It should have been immediate, but it's the adjustments to making this massive loss to decrease is slow. So as I progress back towards back, I'm going to see a greater negligence on my part implementing the rules that I have. So for this one here, I was lucky that I was able to stop loss out at this point instead of waiting all the way to the end of the day where there was a further drop of more than more than 2 points.